Hi, I'm Ted Zhu. I'm co-founder of LobsterLift and also co-inventor of the LobsterLift device. I have a background in software and electrical engineering, and I partnered with Cormac Hondros McCarthy to help build and develop this device that can retrieve lobster traps from the seafloor to help prevent the entanglement of the North Atlantic right whale. So we initially entered the Make for the Planet competition in Malaysia, hosted by Conservation X Labs. It was a engineering innovation competition to help develop ideas for how we might solve problems in conservation related to the oceans. I entered with a team of four engineers to the competition, and we spent essentially 3 days brainstorming and putting together a physical mock-up for what would be the LobsterLift device. And we demonstrated that in front of judges and how it works, what the concept is, and how it might prevent the entanglement of the North Atlantic right whale. And it was very well received. In fact, we won the competition, and we got some initial seed funding from Conservation X Labs to continue working on the device and to try to build a functional prototype. Going from concept to prototype was a pretty long and exciting journey. It's hard to imagine when you're at the concept phase what your prototype is going to look like or how it might even come together. But we just worked on what we were good at, which I do software and Cormac does mechanical engineering, and we just kind of worked together to just go through different iterations, starting from the most basic of prototypes. It wasn't even waterproof, it wouldn't even go underwater. It just showed that we could put an Arduino device inside of a little case and kind of demonstrate that it could inflate a balloon, which is what we use to bring a buoy, which is what we use to bring a lobster trap up to the surface from the seafloor. How well will it be received? Will it be adopted by the local lobstermen? Will we be able to cheaply manufacture this device? And will it actually work in practice? We learned a lot from this whole prototyping process. In our heads, it seemed like the lobster device was a relatively simple concept to develop and put together. However, after our first couple prototypes, it started to become pretty clear that there's a lot of work involved to actually making something that's going to work in all the different environments and conditions that you want it to work. So for an example, waterproofing our device, that's something that we didn't realize would be so difficult. And so we went through a number of different designs. One such example is acoustic communications, which is the technique for how you can communicate with a device underwater. We didn't know how we were going to make our lobster lift able to communicate underwater, and we've learned that these devices, these acoustic communication devices that you can purchase, are very expensive, like on the order of $10,000. So we really needed to find out how we could bring that cost down and how we could be able to work with some type of acoustic communications device with our prototype. We ended up being able to reach out to two acoustic communications device manufacturers, and they're actually now working with us to try to put their communications device in our system and help us with our goal of developing a low-cost ropeless lobster trap retrieval system. And that's been really incredible. And I never would have expected that we would have been able to make such a key connection, or two key connections, from the very beginning when we were just developing this device as a concept. From the beginning, when we first started this project and we were building our first prototype, it really seemed like we were at the bottom of a very tall mountain. And it was very hard to see how everything might come together and whether it would even be possible. So it's really important to keep persevering towards your goal, and don't let obstacles that you come across prevent you from moving forward and making good progress. One of the examples is the acoustic communications aspect of the LOBSTER device. That's actually a key function in our idea, because you need the lobsterman to be able to call up the unit when on demand. And we had no idea how we were going to develop this, but we didn't let that be an obstacle to how we were going to move forward. We still worked on what we could, and eventually we made the connections that we needed to be able to put acoustic communications into our device.